Every year, the Hagerty bull market highlights 10 cars that look likely to appreciate over the following 12 to 24 months. The experts behind it look at adverts, auctions, and Hagerty's own insurance valuations. The reason? Well, they say it's not so much for investment purposes, but more so that enthusiasts don't miss out. That car you always wanted? Well, it might be about to go from affordable to out of reach, so buy now if you can. This year, well, I think it is a particularly fine throng of throttles, and Carfection is going to look at them one by one, hopefully imparting a few little interesting facts along the way. Welcome to the Hagerty Bull Market 2022. In this episode, we've selected this prancing horse. The Ferrari 458 Italia was produced between 2009 and 2015 and cost £170,000 when it first went on sale, before options of course. It was a big leap on from the F430 that preceded it, with torsional rigidity up 15%, 0 to 62 miles an hour down to 3.4 seconds, and the lap time around Fiorano 2 seconds quicker than an F50. At the rear it has 3 tailpipes in a nod to the F40, and in the nose there are aeroelastic winglets that deform with speed to create downforce, which was as much as 140 kilos at 120 miles an hour. Not that we'll be travelling that today, sadly.
The 458 is really a car of, well, firsts and lasts for Ferrari, so it's the last time that we had this naturally aspirated V8 in here. However, it was also the first mid-engined V8 to be offered without a manual gearbox option at all. We've got the dual clutch gearbox, another first actually, going from a single clutch gearbox to a dual clutch gearbox. And actually that sort of lack of a manual potentially defined rather the interior of this car. It's an interior that they said had input from Michael Schumacher into it, particularly because this is another first for this car. In fact, across all Ferraris really, the inclusion on the steering wheel of things like the indicator buttons and obviously the damper, and with the Manettino we'd seen before, but the indicators, that sort of migration of everything, the getting rid of the stalks to the wheel. The 458 was the first car to really do that. As a result, getting into this, well, it still feels very modern actually, because it hasn't really changed in the latest F8 Tributo. The same could be said for the exterior looks as well. I don't think this overall design has been sort of tweaked over the years. There's sort of bits here, scoops added here, flicks there, but fundamentally it's the same shape, and as a result this has aged really, really well. Another first on the 458 was the introduction of the really super quick steering. So it went down from 16.9 to 1 to 11.9 to 1 in terms of the steering ratio from the 430 to this, the 458. And again, as a result, the driving experience still feels incredibly modern.
Given that it feels so modern, what are prices like compared to a new F8 Tributo? Here to tell us more is John Mayhead, editor of the UK Hagerty Price Guide.
The base 458 Italia is valued in the Hagerty Price Guide at quite a wide range. It's between 103,500 all the way up to 199,600. To be honest, we're seeing the majority of auction results down at the bottom end of that. So our average auction results in the last 12 months have been between 106,000 and about 120,000, whereas dealer cars tend to go at the higher end, so they tend to be lower mileage, better looked after, fewer owners on those. We've also seen a real increase in the number of younger people buying these cars. And what I mean by younger is what we term as Gen X, so between 1965 and 1981 year of birth. And that has gone up, that's 46% of all our clients who own these cars are in that bracket, whereas the average across all cars is 34%. So it's quite significant younger ownership. Hagerty really see 458 Italia values increasing quite dramatically. We've seen the record sale, which was over $430,000 back at Scottsdale 2017, but that was a really special car. That was Justin Bieber's car. It had been done by West Coast Customs, really special car. And we don't think it will get there yet, but this has got a real place in Ferrari history, and it already has that buzz about it in the enthusiast world, and we see this climbing. and really not stopping climbing, to be honest.
Some big numbers there. Of course, values aren't the only interesting numbers with Ferraris, but sometimes you do have to read the small print to get the whole picture.
Ferrari and their figures. I love it. So this has 562 brake horsepower. But if you look at Ferrari's figures, they say there's a little asterisk next to that. And actually 5 brake horsepower of that comes from a ram air effect. Other manufacturers will give you a figure and then say actually you might get about 5 brake horsepower more from the ram air effect at high speed, but no, Ferrari includes it all from the get-go. Always read the small print. Another bit of small print, this weighs 1380 kilos dry, because Ferrari likes to quote dry weights, but that's with forged wheels and racing seats. What a car. It just feels so agile and lively. We've got the jets overhead today, and there is that sort of fighter jet feel, the almost sort of instability, such is the turn-in of this car. I love the 458. At its peak in the Speciale, where I think the chassis could really keep up with its steering, but still, even a standard 458 Italia, just glorious.
That then is a brief look at the Ferrari 458 Italia. If you'd like to see some films with the latest version of this car, the F8 Tributo, then just search the Carfection channel. However, if you're more of a British front-engine sports car person, or if you like your Italian cars with 4 seats, then be sure to look out for the rest of the Carfection films on the other entries in the 2022 Hagerty bull market.
Oh, hello. Thank you very much indeed for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. We've got 10 in this series, so do make sure you are subscribed to Carfection. Have a look at the Hagerty articles as well, because they've written about them, so frequently more depth than I had time to talk about in some of the cars, so have a look at those as well. We've got links to all those in the description down below. So yeah, there we go. Hope you enjoy it. See you next time.